30 years ago, 85% of a company was its product. If we take that same percentage and translate it to today, we see how 75 of the company's value is not even the product, it's other things along with the product. And of the 25% missing, 5% is the product.
Episode 7 of Common Sense. Ladies and gentlemen, let's begin.
To whom it may concern, welcome another week to our weekly podcast, Common Sense. I'm so grateful to have you here. As you all can see, I want to start first of all. It was getting way ahead of my time. I want to start talking about the settings. I improved the lighting. Finally, I'm seeing my reflection in the camera like I managed to do, and the lighting behind your camera, the lighting in my back. It's all amazing. It looks actually way better than when we started, like just by having some extra lighting behind me all around. So I'm quite happy and overall satisfied with it. I'm a little bit sick. I got a cold, so that's why my voice and then my nose is all noisy, but things will be fine. I'm gonna have to drink a lot of water during today. But besides that, today we have a really exciting day ahead of us. So for all of us who are trying to be entrepreneurs, build companies, have ideas or work in the professional life, I try to bring these topics so often, especially because my end goal is to do this publicly with people, giving lessons, speaking to all of them, and teaching you something, or the things or the experiences that I learned throughout the years. So for me, this is my training, and on this training, I want to bring different topics that I've been learning, researching, and overall, I'm really excited to talk about. Today's topic is no different from that. Aside for all these things all the thingy that we created, I prepared. I kind of prepared, not gonna lie, not really, but I have the topic of today's, which is on the mouth of a lot of people, especially when there are so many companies and startups going around, which is branding and marketing. There seems to be some kind of rivalry, but that's the main thing that we want to talk about today. So for the whole duration of today's podcast, we're going to be focusing on branding, on the companies, some examples, and then some key learnings, because to do this well and right, we need to learn and we need to go through over several steps that others have prepared, researched, and that we can take the advantage in today's world. So use it in our advantage in the best possible way. So without further delay, I'm getting myself comfortable, do the same thing yourself. Get it ready. And remember, this is the first time you're watching it and you're listening. We have daily content on different social media, so you can get extracts of the podcast. If there is something you would like to know more about it, let me know. Any way I can help you, comment down below. Get in contact with me, and in the best way I can, I'll help you for sure. There's multiple ways, and I'm multifaceted, and I'm pretty sure that my skills will be able to carry on some of your ideas, problems, etc. So now, introduction is gone. Let's get right into branding and marketing. Of course, I couldn't do this without some notes. I'm still not fluent enough, proficient enough to be able to carry on the whole topic without reading or without having something in front of me. This is something that comes out of experience, the ability to talk about topics for a long time. But when you have no experience, when you're alone in front of a camera, and there's no one to actually answer you back or give you any idea, well, things are hard. This is going to be, well, for me, it's harder to talk along with no feedback in the other side. But this is not going to stop me. So we said that we will be talking about branding, and I'm saying branding because it's crucial in our today's society. And the reason why, well, we need to go ahead of times. This is a bit of history. when there wasn't even companies as we know them today, where things were exchanged instead of bought, where there was the exchange system. There was not even a monetary system. We need to go back in time to those days in history, because companies branding and marketing is not something that we invented in 2020. All of a sudden, we decided that we need a new term. We actually change and make it more interesting, but this is something that comes all the way back. And let me tell you why. When trades need to happen, people were brands, and they need to show themselves, spread the word of mouth, and overall get what they were going to exchange, like let's say wheat for coal, get to be known for being really good at that specific thing, so they could obtain something in return. When we introduce the monetary system, they need to be even better to have higher value for their product. And for that, it's not only about the product, that was about multiple other factors, and we are talking centuries ago. So if we actually escalate this to the years of the web page and the first age of marketing, this intense selling, these keep coming and evolving. So what we have today, and what we're going to talk about branding and marketing in general, is an evolution of hundreds of years and experiences accumulated into this. And this is going to be obsolete as soon as I'm over talking about it, because that's the beauty of marketing, of branding, and companies in overall, like in general, that they evolve supernaturally and that we need to keep tracking on. So on tracking on, we need to analyze brands and branding and all of that I've been saying. So this is historic thing that I believe comes with a lot of time, which is how even persons back in the days were brands get into the societies and the whole of the overall companies that we know today. So we don't need to go back in time that much, but 30 years ago, this is actually the 90s, 80s, late 80s, early 90s. If we think about companies and product, just 85 of the average company's profit, integrity, and value was on a product. This was the intense selling area. 85% of a company was its product. And the overall idea was to get the product, build it, and sell it. And once it was sold, you need to build another one and sell it again. This is the beginning of branding. But as everything in life, we have a limit, and we overpass the limit where customers were tired of getting new product, selling them to them, and starting the cycle again. So now, moving forward, 30 years later, 2023, what is going on? Well, if we take that same percentage and translate it to today, we see how 75 of the company's value is not even the product, it's other things along with the product. And of the 25% missing, 5% is the product. And you will be thinking, why in today's world 5% of a company, 5% of revenue, and the overall insights of it's a product? Why only a 5%? Because we live in a global world where we are oversaturated. Oversaturations means that products are no longer the key into accessing in our customers, into accessing in profits, and into selling and whatever you want. The product is just a vehicle and a way to obtain those things. And if I talk about product, I could be talking about services. But that 5% is the vehicle. We just need the wheels, and the wheels in today's world are products. But cars, as everything, are not only wheels. We need the chassis, we need the lights, we need the seat belt, the driving wheel, the stereo music, the glasses, the roof. We need a lot of more things than only the wheels. This is why that 75% is comprehension of intangible assets. Brand, the name, the logo, whatever, the reputation, multiple things. And then we have, of course, distributions and price that comes after the overall identity. So we shifted from 85% product of companies like the main company were valued as 85%. So, well, let me say it better. Of a company, the 85% of it was the product, and then the rest was selling, marketing, blah, blah, blah. To today's world, where like 5% is that product, and the rest, the 95%, are other things. So we need to focus not on the product, but in the overall big chunk we can get the most out of it. This is what I always say. Use this information to get and attack the biggest percentage in the market. So let's go to branding, markets, reputation, blah blah blah. So we will be needing to address several steps, several topics, but I want to throw a challenge to all of you out there. If you're listening to this right now, I bet you that you cannot build a brand, and by building a brand, I'm not saying physically, but you build the identity of a brand. I'm challenging you to build the identity of a brand, to do everything alone by yourself. Get a logo, get a name, a slogan, design the product, the concept of it, okay, the value proposition, and establish a content plan within 2 weeks. And then get out there, look for 5 friends, and do the following. Present this process that you created. First of all, you're gonna present it speaking only. You're gonna use the word, the power of wording and speaking. After that, they will need to write down the things that they capture. Following that, you will need to present the same thing. You do it however you want, but with images, concepts, mock-ups, colors, whatever you want. And then allow them to write it again and compare it. And then, without saying anything to them, get yourself the same thing and present what you think your brand, your product was, and compare it to what your 5 friends said. I'll bet you that you're way off that you will ever imagine. Now, if you're not even able to correlate your idea to your 5 friends and make it look the same, think about escalating that to millions of people. There is no way you will be successful. So this is my challenge. This is my challenge. Build it yourself. Build today's a brand. And copy if you want. Make it unique, of course. But copy and compare it. And you'll see how far you are. 1. If you do this, congratulations, you are on the right step. Because not even me, I'm doing this. But this is how things should be done. This is called research. And this is called comparing and actually doing what others expect, not what you want. And this exact same thing, doing what others expect and not what you want, is called branding, at least for me. If we go back to this idea, we will need to think who does the brand belong to. We could think that it belongs to the owner, the CEO, to the inventor, the one who made the patent, the graphic designer, whoever, like the one who invented the logo, blah, blah, blah. Well, the truth is, brands belong to us. Brands belong to customers, because if they have no customers, there will be no brands. This is the rhetorical question. What was first, the egg or the chicken? But here is pretty much the same thing. What was first, consumers or the brands? It was actually the needs of those consumers that inspired brands to appear, and us who made them stay in the longevity. So we allow them to stay. But how? Well, we take a look at numbers, and I love numbers because we can actually understand so much about it. If a brand is not able to connect with the words or the actions, 53% of customers who get disappointed by one of those things will never come back to that brand. Never. So you already lost 50% if on the first minutes of your existence you fail to connect with the words of action that you did. Now, those 53% that were so disappointed, around 2017 exactly, will never come back, ever. You will never see them again. Gone forever. So think about it this way. The day you start your company, your business, or your idea, even everyone, think about this. The moment you get your feet out there, you already lost 20% of the market share. You're already in disadvantage. Congratulations. Welcome to the real world. Now, This is for a reason only. And this is because the expectancy that people have in brands. Saturations mean that expectations are way above. So all of us out there have to fight that back. And it needs to be done with values. And they cannot be the same values that 30 years ago were shown as a screen that need to be there. No, they need to be personal. They need to be profound and connect deeply. Because if not, you're already wasting 20%. So you better hurry up with the rest of the 80. And this is the questions that we marketeers or you guys out there were having ideas or doing whatever. How can I build an authentic, profitable relation with customers, with your community, with your friends, with the things around you, with your work colleagues? Doesn't matter. How can those be more authentic? Well, this is the beauty of branding and marketing. The first thing is to understand that this is not about you. Mainly anything in life is about you. This is about others. So we need to start caring about others so we can move forward with them. Let's get a few things out of, and we'll start talking about brand. I really want you to understand the following. A brand is not a logo. A brand is not an identity system. A brand is not a product. A brand is not a name. A brand is not a website. And a brand is not a tagline. A brand is a promise, then an experience, and finally a feeling. That is a brand. And this is what you need to look and push forward. The promise, the experience, and the feeling. And a brand is you, it's me, it's Apple. You need to understand that brands are more than just a company. It's everything in life. So get your head out of those pre-native concepts and start thinking about a promise, an experience, and a feeling. I promise you that this will give you common sense in today's confusing world. You will experience this through my voice and through the continuous process that I'm going to be going through. No failure, no days off. And then the feeling will be the satisfaction of thinking, of reflection, of having a debate, and overall experiencing something that I hope is different. That is my process. Now you need to go over yours process so we can all come to a point. And this is why branding and marketing, it's more. It always go one step beyond. If we start going deeper, it's kind of, and this will be low gross, but it's kind of getting inside a persona's gut. Like we get into their stomach. Because why is that analogy? Because we need to feel it, and those are the organs that feel the most when we are doing the digestion process. We need to feel what he is feeling, and we are not going to be physically able to experience the guts, but we can actually get ourselves in their minds or in their position the best we can. Usually, we see that brands are multi-corporate, blah, blah, blah. But the truth is, all that you see tends to come from an individual, just like you, just like me. And one person, an individual who had their idea. It's not a mega corporate where you see 20 men shoot it with bags going into a meeting. No, it tends to be a person who actually worked the idea around and then escalate it over. And it's because that person was able to stay and get the feelings. He went from the ground. He knows what others doing. He get the experience. He went out there and get his hand dirty. And then he got emotional. He got happy. He got depressed. That he started developing a skill which is intuitive feeling. He was able to perceive what others were doing and how they were doing it. And that's a beauty of brands. He was able to see beyond his eyes and his reality into others. And this is what usually we fail on, because we have that idea that is amazing, but this is my idea, my product, and if you keep doing that, if you kept thinking that you're the protagonist of the story, game over. You started losing 20% the first day, and by the next 3 days you lost everything. And once you lost the market share and you have an idea into people, into consumers, it's unlikely that you will recover from it. So, conclusion and summary of this: get yourself and start thinking of what others say, what your friends are the closest reality to you. If your friends don't like what you're doing because they think it's offside, change it and improve it. If you keep thinking about your idea without looking outside, without comparing with others, you will be doing the same product or the same process without improvement, and that could really influence you in a negative way. So that's from that, like thinking in others. But this is not the full side of the story. Thinking in others, it's not the end of the story, because in this world there's a thing called misleading, misdirection, and influence, which is influencing. We can influence others, and that's what we need to actually achieve. We cannot actually satisfy 100% their needs or what they want. We actually need to only satisfy 1%. We just need a hook. So when they're hooked in our idea or in our concept, we can influence what they will think, and we can actually start molding that first idea more closer to ours. And that is how things actually naturally evolve. But that is a process. It's a process of getting the trust, being reliable, and then delivering delight, pleasure. It's a 3-step: trust, reliability, and delight, where that trust, that the first step comes from meeting and beating customers' expectations. If there is no trust in the first place, it came over. That's why the 1% is fundamental. Get that 1% of their ideas or their expectation, and then meet that with them, surpass their expectations, and engage them. So then you can be reliable. They can actually look back to you for other things. Then, with time, you will perfection the process, the brand, the communication, the message, overall, the whole package, and be pleasurable to hear, to come back, and to be a part of. And that's the whole thing, the whole package, my equation that summers in trust, reliability, and delight. This is what we need to get out of it. So, if we need to actually stop for a second, we actually need to calm down because there's been a lot of information. But there's a thing I like for reflection, for thinking back, which is quotes. There are amazing personalities out there who did a lot of research in marketing, in brands, and that set up the foundations for us, people like you and me, to continue. Seth Godin was one of the best first marketeers out there, and he has a quote that said the following about branding and this topic that we're talking. The set of expectations, memories, stories, and relationships that, taken together, account for a customer's decision to choose one product or service over another. We need to be that expectations, be memorable, and establish a story that lasts forever. In a way, what Seth Godin is trying to say is that think about your idea or whatever you want to do as a marriage, and then when you are married, you need to fulfill some requirements. If you fail one of them, you would break up. Brands, your product, or whatever you do with the rest of the population are just like marriages. We need to set bonds that last forever. And if we break the confidence once, it's broken forever. That change is damage. And fix it down will take way longer than actually creating for the first time. Once they're broke, they will never be as the first time. They will never be brand new. So take that in consideration. This is why quotes are so interesting. Reflect on it and give it a thought. And then we have our second one from Capfeeder, whatever, another marketer who wrote many books, which says branding symbolizes a long-term engagement, crusade, or commitment to a unique set of values embedded into products, services, and behaviors, which make the organization's person or product stand apart and stand out. And this definition that has been improved, this is from 2002, actually says everything. It's the long-term engagement, what we need to commit into. And you need to commit. You cannot be afraid of committing. And then you need to embed it into the product, because the product is just the wheels for our message. And that will make you, so whatever you are, the unit, the person of the organization, stand apart. By making that, you will difference from the noise. You're out of the noise. But once you're out of the noise, you're still way off. You need to elevate yourself. That's why doing it all in once is so hard. And this is why having success in today's world is difficult than it was 20 years ago. And it will be even more harder 20 years from now. But the sooner we realize this, the better it will be for our overall future. And now, we talk about all the things, a lot of theoretical concepts that overall could be used in any moment or any situation in our life. What I'm trying to bring you today, and the concept I'm trying to lower into common sense, is that this is not only for companies, that this is for yourself, for your personal brand, for your relationships with friends, for your partner in life, for your family, or for your colleagues from work. Whatever you do, your football team from that were friends, whatever you do, try to actually use this, because life is not about being rich or being millionaires. It's about being happy. And happiness comes from this, the effort that we need to have in others. And if brands are able to do this, it's because this comes and was born from our nature as human beings. So when you think about brands and what they do, what their marketing, how they influence others, just realize that this is humans. This is how humans are, that we do the same. So if brands are doing things unpolite and that are not well seen, it's because we, as individuals, as humans living in a society, have done it too. Because we are the ones who are below them, below the brands. Okay, this is really important. Well, I have a lot more things, but then this is keeping on brands. Of course, we have several types of branding: personal, product, service, retail, cultural, corporate. And depending on the situation you are, you will need to use some of the tools from one of these branding types than others. I'm not going to go into detail because if not, we will be here for hours and hours. And this is part of a theoretical, more longer class. That if it's needed in the future, well, then I will be grateful to comment about it. But what I want to leave is with the 15 rules that I follow when trying to approach a new project in life. First of all, and we're going to go one by one. First rule is, who is your ideal customer? Okay, it's important segmenting and analyzing who is going to be in front of us. If you're going to speak in public, you're going to sell a product, you have a meeting. Who is the product? Who is the customer? And what is their ideal one? Okay. Second of all, what do you solve? What do you bring new? And is it more functional? Is it more on the psychological side? You need to define it, but you need to be clear about it. So every time a question or a problem comes, you go over the problem and the solution that you're bringing today. Third of all, your personality. What kind of personality do you have? As a person talking your product, your brand. How are you gonna actually defend it, and how are you gonna make it repeatedly over time? Personality matters a lot. This is where emotions come and play an important role. So think about your product at the same you think about emotions, and apply the same rules of colors, of namings, and all of that. And there are no good or bad personalities. Take yours, but when you take it and you're confident and secure with that, fight for it until the end and don't change it. Even if it's like super pessimistic, fight for it. Give it a meaning, but use your personality in an advantage. Then competition. Millions of competitors out there. Pick three of them, and choose three things from each one that they're doing right and wrong, and then use it in your advantage. Analyze them and apply their weakness in your advantage and their strengths to push and get away from those. How are you making your clients feel? If they laugh, if they cry, if they're angry, think about it. Just like how do you make your friends feel? Use that to start thinking about your next step. And how are you going to be different? And this is not going to be solved in the first day, in the first year, maybe never. This is a continuous process of being different, okay? But never, never, never think about being different in price. Price is out of the equations. Neither you say that you're different in quality, because quality is absurd. And there are so many things involved in quality that people will be literally as nothing has been said. Then establish trust and actually think deeply if you are trusted. Do your friends trust you right now? Does your family trust you right now to achieving what you're planning? Because if they don't, how are you going to be able to translate that message to others? False expectations then come into play, and those are really bad. Tell a story. Storytelling in branding is like rule number one. Get good at storytelling. Oh, but I don't know how to write. Write every day. Start by telling the story. The first day that the story will be horrible. My story is literally trust. There is a story, but I don't know how to express it. Try. Evolve, practice, write down, listen to things, and get your mind, be proactive. Be and use clarity in your advantage. The easiest the terms are, the easier the wording and sentences you use are, better. This is why I always try to bring everything down to a common sense ground where we can actually try and kind of understand each other's. Then think about the language, verbal, non-verbal. There are multiple factors. They speak Spanish, they speak English. How are you gonna do they even speak? Are they unable to do you design language? Think about it to actually give it a meaning. Can you actually do multiple languages and adapt to them and different ones? Then this is important because in brandings there's a lot of design, so colors play an important role. And this is why when I said personality, play with colors and play with the language when you define your personality. And then think about, this is going back to the challenge I threw you at the beginning. Think about how your voice sound and think about how you communicate and persuade others. This is why I'll throw you a challenge of making your brand identity by yourself and then pushing it to friends and comparing it to what you thought. Because the reality is those two things are way different. So you need to see what you missed to actually reconvert and retrace your line and path to follow forwards. These are the 15 rules. 15 rules that I find to help a lot on the process. There are a lot, but we don't need to do them all at once. We just need to go over each one of them one by one until we actually finally get to the end goal. And by the time we finish, let me tell you, you will need to start again and again and again and again. And this is a challenge, but this is also so rewarding, knowing that you need to understand and you think again, but you have the experience, so you know how to shortcut some things and go over others and adapt it and create some things, and then you expand. It's amazing. Like once you have the process, let me tell you, this is unbelievable. Starting is the harder part, but the starting again, once you've done it once, it's piece of cake. So we are actually coming most likely to the middle / last point, but definitions are important. So what I actually want you to leave with today's 3 main differences, which is brands, what we know are the individuals, not the companies. Never think as a brand as a company. Think as individuals who think and have an opinion, okay? And that those can influence you, but you are the one defining that. They can influence you, yeah. Apple, Coca-Cola, they will influence you to try to change your idea, but you are the one, you with others, are the one who are setting and defining brands. Then think about branding, the action, as how those companies, Apple, Coca-Cola, blah, 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 direct the perception, try to change your ideas, try to establish a pattern. For example, how Coca-Cola branding made you think as Christmas to the red Santa Claus and then immediately to Coca-Cola. So that's what they do. Those are the campaigns that influence that. But us, we think as brands and we think, oh, Coca-Cola Christmas. That's our thing. And then, okay, think about the brand identity as the things you set working in that company. The colors, the message, the communications, the choices, the strategies, the segmentations, the equity, the soul, the charisma, all those things. Think about branding or branding attributes. Okay, don't think about those are when you can actually work the branding equity, the charismatic, blah blah blah. Okay, so that's the point. Brands are individuals, never companies. But companies branding will influence you, and they will work in the campaigns to actually change those things. So, topic for today. All is gone. There are a few more things, but I want to actually go through examples of it, because if not, I could be talking here all day long. Okay, but I want to go through examples of core identity values that we can actually analyze and use for later. Okay, for example, one of the core identity values that Michelin has is that they knew their technology in tires was amazing. They knew their drivers understood how valuable were their tires. But there is one time where competitors start appearing. So the identity started to fade away because of competition. And what they do is they didn't work on the tires. The tires remain the same. They work on the things that go around the tires. And they work on creating something complementary, a guide. The Michelin guide was created so people could use Michelin tires in their cars and drive for miles and miles away to try new restaurants that were recommended by them, because they guarantee you that, first of all, their tires will get you there, they will not break. Second of all, they guarantee you that the feeling of using your car, your brand new tires, and arriving at a new restaurant, trying spectacular food, was going to be sensational, achieving a feeling that was satisfaction over the roof. Michelin invited their guide so people could value how good their tires were. This is a branding campaign outstanding. And we're talking about decades ago that still is visible today. And you know that safety, guarantee, and overall, the best brands, the best tires in the world are from Michelin, because they implanted that seed in our head through their guide. And then the guide now works independently, which is crazy. But back in the day, that's how they did it. Then Johnson & Johnson is the umbrella company that is today for a lot of products, and they're Procter & Gamble, because they invested so much into medicines, into the counter medicines, that they, by doing that, showed the world that they were reliable and that they could be trusted, because medicine products are hard to sell. Apple, essence of innovation. No, it comes from speech of making you as a user empowered, feeling power. That's what innovation comes from. They don't really innovate. They just make you think you're powerful and innovative. Then this comes the same with Nike. Nike today main chunk is on innovation and technology. 16 billion last year just for Nike innovation department, because they know that it's enhancing athletes and making you part of a family who's constantly innovating. What drives them? What drives new athletes? But actually want to be promoted and then be and be able to wear their products is the value proposition. It's not the product. From every one of these companies, we haven't talked about the product. There are several Michelin tires. There are a lot of Apple products, mainly so many Nike shoes and apparel, and then Johnson & Johnson has I don't know how many products. I don't even know. We're just talking about the companies and the promises and how they were trusted, then reliable, and then deliver delight into their customers. This is how good branding is done. And we don't need to take the whole out of it. We just need to take several steps so we can achieve and arrive to our main point. which is that identity. Our identity as a person, as a brand, need to be extended from the main thing. My case, what I'm trying to achieve is my identity, my core one is communicating, but I'm trying to extend it into all the assets and all the stages in our life, not only business, not only monetary, day to day. This is where I'm trying to extend it, and it's way more complex because trying to make someone understand why branding is important or why some things are branding and the ideas are super useful in every day. This is super hard, and the process that I'm going to have to go through of learning and improving myself and my speech and my ideas, it's going to be way longer. But that's the extended identity that I'm aiming for. This is where you need to aim, and this is where branding is amazing. And there are many steps, but overall, build that identity and get the challenge going, because the challenge that I throw you today will allow you to start being reliable and being consistent, which is a key. Keeping it consistent over time, colors, message, structure, forms, all those things. So you actually start building the visual identity, and you go through the process, and then you arrive to like Johnson & Johnson. It's like who really have a process well done. This comes from years and years, but you and me need to do the same thing. I may actually never build a company. You will never build a company. What doesn't matter. You make yourself be a brand in your everyday to work, and you have a process, and you have a consistency, and you're able to be trusted, reliable, and then when everything is finished, the sensation is of delight. You will climb up in the company, or your life will be 100 times happier. Your family, the same thing. This is why key aspects from these are essential. And then here we could be talking about Starbucks or Meta or the identities that they bring, the colors and the sensations. This is a recurrent topic, and there are things that I haven't even talked. Neuroscience comes here to play amazing, and there are some models that will blow your mind. Akers model, Brandster model, wow, those are amazing. I would love to talk about them. But the core identity is now over. And I could be talking here and expanding topics and many more. I have a whole list here. But please stay with the ideas that I try to present you today. The 15 steps into the processes, the difference between a branding and attributes, and how though we could implement it, and overall try to do the challenge that I throw to you at the beginning. And if you don't remember, build yourself a brand, logo, slogan, colors, product, a marketing campaign, choose of them, and then write down what you think people will think, what others would think, what's your idea, what you want to achieve, and then compare it with what people actually think one is presented. First of all, only through voice, no images, and then the same thing, but always with images. So they have two ideas and compare it. Because if you're not able to match what you expect and what you wanna achieve with your brand or your product with what other things, without seeing it, and then by seeing it, you will need to change things, and that's the beauty. Change things, adapt, and become better. If you're doing a company, if you're doing a business, if you're working, or if you just have a family that you want to make really happy. I think we've gone over. I don't like to go more than 40 minutes, especially if it's one dense topic. I think it covers enough for me. Don't leave a lot of space in between, because as I'm only speaking, this makes me go over like super fast. Excuse me. Oh, fuck off. But well, I am trying to keep improving. I think today's is been great. We've learned a lot of things. We've reflected on others. Quality is improving, and overall, I'm happy to keep talking, keep practicing, and experiences this journey that I decided to embark myself. So, branding and marketing, I hope you all enjoyed it. It was useful, and you can use it in any ways. As always, any comments, let me know. It's really important. And I'll see you in the next one. So, to whom it may concern, I'll see you.